I call the annual meeting to order. I would like to introduce Manchester Town Clerk Deb Southier, who will assist me in the election of the moderator. I entertain a motion to nominate a moderator to preside at the meeting.
I move to nominate Richard A. Spencer as moderator to preside at the said meeting.
Where's Deb?
Deb? Oh,
Call the votes. Did you call the votes?
No, she has to request the nominations. And she's collecting ballots.
Okay. Anybody want to nominate someone else as moderator?
Thank you. All right, Richard Spencer it is. Do you, Richard Spencer, swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Maine so long as you shall continue to be a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully discharge to the best of your abilities the duties incumbent on you as moderator of the RSU number 38 budget meeting on May 16, 2018, according to the Constitution and the laws of the state of Maine?
I do.
I have to say that. Great.
Thank you.
It's all yours.
It's always better to win an election than to lose one. Thank you. I'm Richard Spencer, and the first order of business at the meeting will be to swear in the ballot clerks at the meeting. So I would ask that the ballot clerks come forward to be sworn in. Do you swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Maine so long as you shall continue to be a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully discharge to the best of your abilities the duties incumbent on you as ballot clerk of the RSU number 38 budget meeting on May 16th, 2018, according to the Constitution and the laws of the state of Maine? They all do. Thank you. So after swearing in the ballot clerks, the next order of business is to establish the procedures for the meeting. And unless there's an objection, I would conduct the meeting according to the Maine Moderator's Manual, which is the rules that are put out by Maine Municipal Association for conducting town meetings. But they have to be slightly modified because there's one state law that is different for school budget meetings than it is for town meetings, and that is that if 10% of the people at a school budget meeting ask for a vote by written ballot, then we have to vote by written ballot. Other than that, the rules are the same for town meetings and school budget meetings, and hopefully those are familiar to everybody. It's my practice, if people want to amend articles, to allow one amendment to the article at a time, And if someone offers an amendment, we would then vote on that amendment before we voted on the article. And if someone wanted to make a different amendment, that would be in order after the vote on the first amendment. But I'm not smart enough to figure out what's going on when you have an amendment to an amendment. And it's confusing enough that we'll just vote on one amendment at a time. In order for people who don't live in the district to speak at a meeting or to answer questions, we need a vote of the meeting to allow them to speak. So I would, if somebody would be willing to make it, I would entertain a motion to allow the superintendent, Donna Wolfram, the principals, Jeff Boston and Rick Hogan, the adult and community education director, Stephen Vos, the director of curriculum instruction and assessment, Nancy Harriman, and the director of maintenance and transportation, Sean Drinkwater, to speak or answer questions at the meeting.
I move to allow the non-resident administrators to speak as noted by the moderator.
Second.
Is there any discussion of that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. That's a vote. The warrant for the budget meeting has altogether, I think it's 19 articles, but 20 articles, 21 articles. Articles 2 through 12 are the expenditure articles, and they're line item articles that allow the school board to expend the funds that are in the budget. And then after that are what I would call the revenue articles, which actually raise the money that for the board to expend. So those are the articles that actually raise the taxes to pay for the budget. And under state law, the revenue articles have to be voted on by a recorded vote. No one knows quite what that means, but what I think it means is that there either has to be a count of the yeas and the nays that is put into the minutes, or it has to be a unanimous vote. In either case, that would be considered a recorded vote. Article 16, which is called the additional local funds article, by state law, that has to be voted on by a written ballot. So when we get to that, if I start calling the yeas and nays, somebody raise their hand and say, wait a minute, we have to do that by written ballot. So with those preliminaries, I guess I would move to Article 2, which is to see what sum the RSU will be authorized.
To stop them.
Oh, I'm sorry, we need to have the explanation of the budget. I did a budget meeting last night and it only took 31 minutes, so I was hoping
Well,
that
we'll see if we can outdo that one. Good evening, and thank you all for coming tonight. The board began the budget process in January. At that time, we began by developing our goal or lens to work through while we were developing that budget. Our goal, which is promoting student success in all areas as we strive for academic excellence while maintaining fiscal responsibility. In other words, we wanted to make sure that while developing this budget, we also ensured that teachers and other staff had the resources necessary to enable all students to succeed. But we also know that the towns and its residents can only handle a certain amount of money through property taxes, so we had to be fiscally responsible as well. In January and February, the administrators and staff began by presenting us with their needs. Their first request represented a budget with a 7.45% increase from the current year. On March 14th, we met with the select boards of each of our towns. They came to the meeting. They listened, we listened, and the board requested the administrators to go back and reprioritize and reduce the budget. Our board meetings always had a time for community input during our budget deliberations, especially during the March-April timeframe. The final budget that was approved by this board on April 10th represents a 4.11% increase from last year's budget. The next slide shows that the first budget request was $18,494,734, and the approved budget shows a major decrease to $17,920,250. The next slide shows some of the budget reductions that were made between January and April. Some of them include health insurance premiums. Premiums were anticipated to be at a 10% increase, but when we were finally told what they would be, it represented a 4.85% increase. We eliminated a high school ed tech who would have done study halls. We eliminated athletic uniforms and all the other items on that list. I'm not going to read them one by one. All the cuts were made after much debate at the board level and after much work by our administrators and our staff members. So thank you.
So I would like to share some of the history of the district that will add to your understanding of the budget. These charts and graphs have also been published on our website. The RSU 38 budget represents, as Dick said, expenditures and revenues. Revenues come from state subsidy, from funds coming in from sources such as tuition, as payment for services we provide to other districts, from transportation revenues, and from local dollars. Expenditures represent what needs to be expended in order to provide our students with educational and and extracurricular opportunities. State subsidy is based on valuations and enrollment. The best case scenario is if enrollment is up and valuations are down. This year, we were notified by the state that our state subsidy has increased $120,736 over FY18. This is reflected by the orange line on the graph, and the blue line shows the history of the CSD 42 RSU 38 budget since FY04. Slide 6 is the history of the expenditure budget. The RSU 38 expenditure budget hit a high in FY07 and continued to decrease until the FY12 budget. Then the FY15 budget dipped slightly with the freezing of salaries and the cutting of several positions. Recently, new state laws regarding proficiency-based diplomas have resulted in the development of a more rigorous curriculum and the need for more supports for our students in order to ensure that they will meet district and state standards. Enrollment. Many districts in Maine have been facing significant enrollment decreases, but our actual enrollment, including non-resident students, has increased 22 students since last year. The blue line represents this increase of students who are attending our district and includes tuition students and resident students. The red line shows resident students who are attending our district. The remainder of the slides describe the expenditure articles 2 through 12, and then the revenue articles. Please refer to these slides as we review the warrant articles for an explanation of each article. So we won't be reading them, but the information will be on the slide, so make sure you take a look at those.
If there's no further explanation of the budget, I'll move to Article 2. To see what sum the RSU will be authorized to expend for regular instruction, including alternative education, English language learners instruction, and gifted and talented education. The school board recommends $7,627,119.00. Is there a motion on Article 2?
I move to adopt Article 2 as recommended. This article includes negotiated salaries and benefits for regular education instructional staff, supplies, professional development, contracted services, and copier maintenance costs.
Is there any discussion of Article 2? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Article 2 is approved. Article 3, to see what sum the RSU will be authorized to expend for special education. School board recommends $2,364,094.
I move to adopt Article 3 as recommended. This article includes negotiated salary and benefits for special education administration and instructional staff, special education legal costs, tuition costs for out-of-district placements. Special education provides services as required by law.
Article 3 has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? This is a tough crowd. Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of Article 3 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Article 3 is approved. Article 4, to see what sum the RSU will be authorized to expend for career and technical education, co-op pathways program, and capital area technical center tuition. School board recommends 0.
I move to adopt Article 4 as recommended. The state of Maine has changed the funding and expense for CATSI, so we no longer need to budget for this tuition.
But you still need to vote on it. Is there any discussion of the 0 recommendation?
Is this on? Is this on? Yes. My name is Richard Fine. I live in Manchester, Maine. I just wondered on Article 4, what changes were made in the funding so that we don't have to pay for CATSI? Does anybody know?
The money goes right from the state to CATSI, so it doesn't come to us. It doesn't come through us anymore. It used to, but it doesn't anymore.
Okay, thanks.
Any further discussion of Article 4? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of Article 4 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Article 4 is approved. Article 5, to see what sum the RSU will be authorized to expend for other instruction, which is co-curricular, extracurricular, and regular education summer instruction. School board recommends $450,400.
I move to adopt Article 5 as recommended.
Second.
This article includes activities in the middle school and high school, such as sports, plays, math team, speech, and debate, student senate. The expenses in this article are for coaching salaries, official services, supplies, equipment, dues, and fees. This article also includes salaries and benefits for summer regular education instructional programs.
Any discussion on Article 5? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Article 5 is approved. Article 6, to see what sum the RSU will be authorized to expend for student support, guidance, health, technology, and staff support, improvement of instruction and staff training, curricular, library, assessment. School board recommends $1,886,948.
I move to adopt Article 6 as recommended. This article includes negotiated salary, benefits for staff and directors in the above-mentioned departments, district-wide professional development, NAWIA, and other assessment, testing, and supplies.
Any discussion of Article 6? All those in favor, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Article 6 is approved. Article 7, to see what sum the RSU will be authorized to expend for system administration, which is the school board and superintendent's office. School board recommends $624,333.
I move to adopt Article 7 as recommended.
Second.
This article includes negotiated salary and benefits for central office staff, school board stipends, contracted services for legal and audit, legal liability insurance, supplies for school board and central office.
Any discussion on Article 7? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Article 7 is approved. Article 8, to see what sum the RSU will be authorized to expend for school administration, principal's offices. The school board recommends $1,098,134.
I move to adopt Article 8 as recommended.
Second.
This article includes negotiated salaries and benefits for principals, secretaries, principal professional development, accreditation costs, supplies, dues, and fees.
Is there any discussion of Article 8? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say, "You betcha." All those opposed say nay. Article 8 is approved. Article 9, to see what sum the RSU will be authorized to expend for transportation and buses. School board recommends $983,699.
I move to adopt Article 9 as recommended.
Second.
This article includes negotiated salaries, benefits for transportation, administration, mechanic, and bus drivers, mandated physicals and drug testing, repairs, vehicle insurance, fuel, supplies, and lease purchase payments.
Any discussion of Article 9? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Article 9 is approved. Article 10, to see what sum the RSU will be authorized to expend for facilities maintenance. School board recommends $2,219,045.
I move to adopt Article 10 as recommended. This article includes negotiated salary and benefits for maintenance, administration, and custodians, utilities like electricity, oil, propane, and telephone, contracted services for snow plowing, heating systems and roof monitoring, building repairs and projects, painting, and lease purchase payments of energy retrofit projects.
Any discussion of Article 10? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Article 10 is approved. Article 11, to see what sum the RSU will be authorized to expend for debt service and other commitments. School board recommends $552,402.
I move to adopt Article 11 as recommended.
Second.
This article includes bond payments on school construction projects, including the middle school construction, high school addition and renovations, and additional athletic fields that were approved by referendum.
Any discussion of Article 11? Yes, sir.
I'm Bruce Burgoyne. I'm from Reedfield. Could you give me the retirement dates or years for those bonds?
The middle school construction and the athletic fields, the bonds will be paid off in November of 2020. And then the high school renovations, in addition, will be paid off in 2022.
Thank you. I think that's good to bear in mind because we do have potential bonding coming up.
Any further discussion of Article 11? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Article 11 is approved. Article 12, to see what sum the RSU will be authorized to expend for all other expenditures, food services, reimbursable transportation. School board recommends $114,076.
I move to adopt Article 12 as recommended.
Second.
This article includes local dollar support of the food service program and reimbursable transportation provided for RSU 38 towns and recreation programs.
Any discussion of Article 12? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Article 12 is approved. Article 13, I think I hear a motion to dispense with the reading of Article 13. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay, the reading of Article 13 is dispensed with. Is there
I
a
move,
motion? Yeah.
I move to adopt Article 13 as recommended. State mandated explanation. RSU 38's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12 as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act is the amount of money determined by the state law to be the minimum amount that RSU 38 must raise and assess in order to receive the full amount of state dollars. In other words, this article gives the minimum amount that each town will pay based on the ED 279, which is the state subsidy report, and that RSU 38 must raise and assess in order to receive the full amount of state dollars.
Is there any discussion on Article 13? Now, this is one that needs to be by a recorded vote, but I'm going to take a guess that we may be able to do it without actually having everyone have to raise their hand and be counted. If there's no discussion, all those in favor of Article 13 say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. That can be a recorded unanimous vote. Article 14, to see what sum the RSU will raise and appropriate for the annual payments on debt service previously approved by the legislative body for non-state funded school construction projects or non-state funded portions of school construction projects, in addition to the funds appropriated as the local share of the RSU's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12. School board recommends $187,902.
I move to adopt Article 14 as recommended. The state mandated explanation, non-state funded debt service is the amount of money needed for the annual payments on RSU 38's long-term debt for major capital school construction projects that are not approved for state subsidy. The bonding of this long-term debt was previously approved by the voters. This long-term debt includes a portion of the middle school construction project, the high school addition and renovations project, and the athletic fields.
Any discussion on Article 14? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Article 14 is approved by a recorded unanimous vote. Article 15, to see what sum the RSU will raise and appropriate in additional local dollars in support of the food service program. School board recommends $105,000.
I move to adopt Article 15 as recommended. Second. This money helps fund the school's food service programs and equipment replacement.
Any discussion of Article 15? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Article 15 is approved by a unanimous vote. Article 16, written ballot. I hear another motion to dispense with the reading of Article 16. Second. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. That's a vote. We've dispensed with the reading of Article 16.
I move to adopt Article 16 as recommended. Second. State mandated explanation. The additional funds, local funds, are those locally raised funds over and above RSU 38's local contribution to the total cost of funding public education from kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act, and local amounts raised for the annual payment on non-state funded debt services that will help achieve the RSU 38 budget for educational programs. The funding from the state, $3,591,893, is 29.54% of the total essential programs and services EPS allocation. This allocation covers only a portion of the above noted programs. This article describes the additional funds that the RSU 38 needs to raise to achieve the RSU 38 school district budget.
Any discussion of Article 16? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. under state law, this has to be voted on by written ballot. So I think you all have a written ballot. If you could fill out your ballot and deliver them to the ballot clerks in each of your towns. I know the suspense has been killing you, but Article 16 was approved 44-0. Article 17. Article 17 is the summary article to see what sum the RSU will authorize the school board to expend for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2018 and ending on June 30th, 2019. From the RSU's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12 as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act, non-state funded school construction projects, additional local funds for school purposes under Maine Revised Statutes Title 20A, Section 15690, unexpended balances, tuition receipts, state subsidy, and other receipts for the support of schools. School Board recommends $17,920,250. Is there a motion?
I move to adopt Article 17 as recommended. This article authorizes the school board to spend the recommended budget in fiscal year 2019. The school board cannot spend an amount above the authorized budget.
Any discussion of Article 17? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Article 17 is approved. Article 18, to see if the RSU will reduce the amount raised and assessed as each municipality's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act in accordance with Maine Revised Statutes Title 20A, Section 15688, to the extent of any unanticipated increase in the adjusted state contribution under the Essential Programs and Services Funding Model. School Board recommends ought to pass.
I move to adopt Article 18 as recommended.
Second.
This article authorizes the school board to use the entire additional state subsidy to reduce local assessments.
Any discussion on Article 18? Yeah. Yes, sir.
My name is Bruce Burgoyne. I'm from Reedfield, and I serve on the Select Board. And last year, we asked the Select Boards that this article be included. We suspected at that point that there would be some additional state subsidy that came through during the summer because the legislature basically had not completed their work, which seems to be a regular habit down there. But in any case, I would say that I was delighted because there was some additional subsidy. I don't expect that this year, by the way. That did come forward last year, and we were credited that back. And so we have a partnership, a stewardship with you, the towns, the select boards, and the school board, and I thank you for recognizing us.
Any further discussion of Article 18? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Article 18 is approved. Article 19. Do you favor the formation of a regional service center pursuant to an interlocal agreement for the Kennebec Valley Student Supports Regional Service Center as approved by the governing bodies of the parties thereto and the Commissioner of the Department of Education? School Board recommends ought to pass.
I move to adopt Article 19 as recommended.
Second.
The Regional Service Center will be comprised of RSU 2, Winthrop, RSU 38, for the purpose of providing support services for our students such as summer school, for expanding the and extracurricular opportunities for our students, and for recruiting, training, and retaining substitute teachers.
Any discussion on Article 19? Just as a point of information, if you approve this, it allows the district to get the full state subsidy that was on the forms. If it isn't approved, then you would get a reduction in state subsidy. And the state is also providing $97,200 for each regional service center. If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Article 19 is approved. Article 20, shall the RSU appropriate a recommended amount of $193,400 for adult education and raise a recommended amount of $65,000 as the local share with authorization to expend any additional incidental or miscellaneous receipts in the interest and for the well-being of the adult ed program. School board recommends ought to pass with the recommended amounts.
I move to adopt Article 20 as recommended.
Second.
This article covers academic as well as enrichment programs offered through the adult education program.
Any discussion of Article 20? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Article 20 is approved. Article 21, shall the school board be authorized to expend other revenue from state, federal, local, and private sources for the support of schools? School board recommends ought to pass.
I move to adopt Article 21 as recommended.
Second.
This article allows the school board to pursue and use funds that may be received through unexpected grants or donations and grant applications that are made by members of the regional school unit staff or community. We do not include a specific amount due to the unpredictability of the receipt of the funds and because most are dedicated to a specific project or purpose. Examples of some of the funding we received in 2017 to 2018 are Title 1A, $201,000, Title 2A, $44,800, Title 4, $9,800, Title 5, Rural Low Income, $19,300, Local Entitlement, $372,000, Gear Up, $50,000, and other miscellaneous grants, $10,000. The estimated income for the upcoming year is $707,000.
Any discussion of Article 21? Yes, sir.
Richard Fine from Manchester. Is this money earmarked for certain programs? Therefore, are there budget restraints, or is the $707,000 estimated going to be targeted somewhere?
Yes, it is earmarked for certain programs. There are specific target areas that the funding goes to.
You want me to describe?
Yeah, go ahead.
For example, Title I, we receive for, based on our free and reduced, but it's strictly for reading and some math interventions. Title II is for staff professional development. Local entitlement is for special education only. The Gear Up grant is a grant that we received at the middle school and high school here that is trying to promote college education for first generation families, and those types of things, so yes.
Does this reduce the total expenditures of the annual budget, or is this in addition to the?
This is in addition to.
In addition to, okay,
Yes.
thanks.
Any further discussion of Article 21? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Article 21 is approved. That concludes the articles. Do you have the budget validation referendum? And is that going to be on the 12th? So that's the other thing is, although we can elect the President of the United States in one election, it takes two votes to adopt the Marana-Cook school budget. And you just adopted it, but then you have to adopt it again or approve it again at a referendum, which will be conducted in each of the towns on June 12th. So you should all keep in mind that in order to actually approve what you just did, you'd have to vote at the referendum on June 12th. With that, unless there's any other business to come before the meeting, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. Meeting stands adjourned.
Thank you.
You're welcome.